All right, I'm going to teach you how to hit a punching bag today. Go through this in 3 steps. First, I'll teach you how to throw your punch. Second, we'll cover your equipment. And third, we'll do it against the bag. Right now, I'm basically expecting that you've never hit a punching bag before in your life, and you're thinking, you know, maybe I should try and practice my punching skills just in case I get caught in the middle of a riot or something like that. So first, we'll get into where does the punch come from, which is going to be your guard. You want to keep your hands up during the fight, so that's where you're going to practice your punch originating from. Nobody throws punches from back here. If you're winding all the way up back here to throw your punch, it's not really going to make much of a difference so long as you actually know how to throw a punch. So, you can't see my feet, but try and take a look in the mirror behind me so you get some idea of what this is supposed to look like. You want to have a fighting stance. Fighting stance is going to be your feet about shoulder width apart, 1 foot behind the other, again about shoulder width, give or take. Both of your hands, you're going to want to be up. One hand can be up a little bit higher than the other as long as both elbows are in by your ribs. Don't let your elbows touch your ribs. The elbows are touching your ribs, you're leaving your head too far up. Throw your first punch, your front hand. Go ahead and extend the front hand out. Notice, as I extend it out, I twist. The hips rotate, the shoulders rotate, the hand, it will rotate in space. When you're like this, all the knuckles should be pointed mostly at the ceiling, give or take. When you're extending the arm, not only the knuckles point straight ahead, but the thumb is going to point diagonally downward. Don't point it all the way downward, that's over rotation. But you want to train yourself to get enough of a twist that it goes to horizontal and then just a little bit further as the hand position goes. Same off the back leg. When I twist through the hips, I twist through the shoulders, the hand twists through space. Again, knuckles point straight forward. Again, thumb points slightly downward. Not all the way downward, just slightly downward. Notice the back foot, I push up through the ball of my foot, penetrate all the way through. First, just practice that mechanic. You know, ideally, if you have access to a mirror, it would be good to do that against a mirror. Just face yourself, throw punches, try and make your punches go faster than your reflection does. Each time you throw a punch, the other hand should just immediately snap back to where your guard is. So, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Start trying to build pyramids up. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. Get that twist. Get the shoulders mostly relaxed. Each time you throw that punch, shoulder doesn't rise up. You want the elbow not to corkscrew through space as you're throwing the punch. Don't want to be doing too much of this, just want to be coming straight out. Straight out, straight back. Straight out, straight back. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, etc. So, now you know how to throw a punch, you know how to wrap your hands. Next piece is hitting the bag. Heavy bags are made to take a lot of abuse. Generally speaking, you will be training power on a heavy bag more than speed, and you'll be training specific techniques and precision. Speed training is usually kind of its own thing. We'll have our own video on that at some point in the future. In the meantime, this is more about just how do you hit something as hard as you possibly can safely without breaking your hand. So, on that topic, I recommend getting these. These things are great. Any kind of heavy boxing glove of some sort. These are 16 ounce, they're not that heavy. Most bag gloves tend to be between 18 and 24 ounce, sometimes even bigger than that. That's up to you at your own discretion. I use these because I also spar with these. It tends to work out pretty well. Notice lots of padding up here in the front of the hand. Notice the thumb doesn't float, it's pretty much just solid in there, and the front is not even that much open. Sometimes you'll find some that have a mesh up here. That's up to you. That helps keep the hand a little cooler. Doesn't really make much of a difference when you're wearing hand wraps though. Pretty much anything like this should do. One thing I don't recommend using are something like this. So these are your MMA gloves. Sparring with, that's hit or miss. It depends on what kind of gym you're in, if you're going to be using these or not. The only reason I don't recommend doing bag work with these is there's not enough padding in them. The whole point to padding, the whole point to the gloves when you're doing the bag work is to protect your hand. You wrap your hands so that you can protect and stabilize all the little bones in your wrist and in your joints. You're wearing your gloves to help give you that extra protection. If you're starting to get a lot of power out of this, which you should be pretty soon, heavy rotation on these things. One, it's going to wear these things out faster than your boxing gloves. Two, it's going to wear your hand out faster than your boxing gloves. The boxing gloves are designed to take that kind of abuse and redistribute it away from the rest of your hand. These, not quite as much. So if you want a set of these for speed training, that's up to you. I wouldn't even use them for that. I would just stick with the boxing gloves. One thing I recommend never to use are something that looks a little bit like this. These things are, well, as you can see, they're pretty flimsy. We haven't even used these for very long and they're already ripping apart. The padding on these is next to non-existent, free-floating thumb. They're just kind of pieces of crap. They're often labeled as bag gloves, and generally speaking, most things like this are little more than a chunk of simulant leather over some styrofoam from the looks of it. And why pay 25 bucks for something you can make yourself? If you're going to pay 25 bucks, look online, look around. You can get decent boxing gloves for that price without having too much of a problem. All right, you got your hand wraps on, you got your gloves on. It's time to hit the bag. So, just as we were doing earlier with our solo activity, when you throw your punch, twist into it, both sides. Make sure you twist the arm, make sure you twist the fist. Thumb should point slightly down. Don't lock the elbow. Don't let the shoulder rise up. Don't corkscrew the arm in space so much. Just straight forward as much as you can, twisting through space. First, what you're going to want to do when you're in front of that bag is gauge your distance. So, if you extend your arm and you're just barely touching that bag, you're too far away. You want to have your arm basically extending about halfway through the bag. Just make sure you are capable of getting full extension when you throw that punch, especially off the backhand. A lot of times I see mistakes where people come in too close, they're trying to punch from this distance. You can't really throw a straight punch from this distance. You throw something else, a different technique. But since we're practicing just our straight punches, you want to twist into it to the point where you're penetrating, but you're not too close. So once you've got your distance figured out, go ahead and hit it a couple of times. You know, it can go slow at first, just to see what it's like. You know, 1, 2, type of deal. Then start, you know. Biggest things. Make sure you get that twist through the waist. Make sure you come up on the ball of the back foot when you're trying to get that power through the back hand. Make sure you get some of that twist through the front foot, the front leg, as you're getting the twist in the front arm. That twist is important. Don't over twist, don't lock the arm, don't lift the shoulder, and you should be good. I recommend doing, get yourself acquainted with the bag and punching it for a while. You know, do pyramids, 1, 1, 2 type of thing, 1, 2, 3. And once that feels boring, which it'll probably feel boring real quick, start setting yourself a timer. You know, 45 seconds on of just mixing it up. You know, that kind of thing. 45 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Do that for 10, 15 minutes. Once 45 seconds becomes easy to sustain and hold at, then start upping the time. You know, go to a minute, go to 2 minutes, go to 3 minutes. Up to you. And you'll be golden. That's it. You should by now have learned how to throw your straight punches, what kind of equipment you should be wearing when you're punching the bag, and third, you should have a basic idea of how to hit the bag without injuring yourself. And if you have any more questions or feedback, or you think we didn't cover something sufficiently, feel free to let us know. In the meantime, train hard.